All right, just a little disclaimer before we get started. As always, nothing in this quick update about Salty Pirates crew is should be considered financial advice. Always, obviously, do your own research, and that's one of the reasons why we bring content to this Discord is to assist anybody in doing their own research regarding any project, whether it's an NFT, a token, coin, blockchain, whatever it's going to be. So, obviously, we are big fans of Salty Pirate Crew. We had these guys in for an AMA right before they launched. It was a great time, and I look forward to introducing again Ocean and Neon here to talk about Salty Pirate Crew and all of the updates since they've launched.
Excellent. Thanks for having us.
Yep, definitely.
Excellent. Ocean, if you want to just reintroduce yourself to everybody in case they haven't had the pleasure of knowing who you are or anything about your project, and then let's get into the updates.
Awesome. So I'm Ocean, also known as Barrett. I'm part of a fully docs team. We've been running Salty Pirate Crew for probably all up around 6 months, including all the development time, all of our art, everything that we did leading up. It might be a little bit longer than that now, but we've been working for quite a while. We spent quite a bit of time analyzing the market, looking at what was working well, what wasn't working well. We noticed that there was an oversaturation of animal profile pictures, so we wanted to do something a little bit different. As you can see, there aren't many pirate projects. I think we're starting to see a few more now, but we wanted to do something completely different, and we've done everything sort of differently from the beginning. And we've stayed true to that course. We're really passionate about what we're doing. The team's really passionate, and we've actually able to put some really great things together since we've last been in here. And I won't spoil those all now, but I'll let Grant take us through some questions, and I'll start to answer some of the things that we've been doing.
Absolutely. Neon, did you want to introduce yourself? I know obviously you're a regular here with Cryptonairz and a couple other projects. Did you want to just reintroduce yourself to everybody?
Sure, absolutely. So I've been with Salty now for a few months, and I'm also NFT advisor for Neon Pantheon, both of which I think have quite a close relationship with Cryptonairz, which I'm really happy about, to be quite honest. So yeah, I'm now community manager for Salty, and yeah, I've been spending a lot of time in the Discord, kind of developing the DAO, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. Some of the proposals we've been talking about and getting up and running, which we've got some exciting things to share with you guys today.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys, for that. And if you guys, obviously with the introductions here, if you haven't had a chance to look up Salty Pirate Crew and look at some of the NFTs they have, or go back and review our first AMA with them, you're going to get a lot more of the background information and almost the full introduction of what this project really is. Today is really just to go through all of the updates since they've launched, to talk about how the launch has gone and what we can expect moving forward. So let's just get right into it. You guys launched a couple weeks ago, and I believe you sold out pretty quickly. Did you guys sell out during the pre-launch with the whitelisters, or did it go past that?
It went to the public sale. So we sold out 2 hours after we went to the public sale, and we were at the time, so we organized to have a metaverse party for our holders at the same time as the public launched. And what we did was we had like a little pirate ship that we'd built on another platform. We had a DJ come in. We actually had 2 DJs come in, and we were just playing, a couple of sets between the 2 guys. And as we started playing one of the pirate songs, one of the DJs started playing one of the pirate songs, we actually sold out. So it was pretty cool timing, because it all sort of came together. But our public sale and our pre-sale worked really well together. I mean, we had 2 days for our whitelisters to get in there. We split that 2 days up into 2 different sections. The first 24 hours being people being able to only mint, I think it was a maximum of 3. And then after that 24 hours were lifted, it was for the whitelisters to mint however many they wanted. And then straight after that was the public sale where anyone was able to come in, and that moved really fast. I think we had about 1,000 left, and that 1,000 sold within the first 2 hours of it being live.
Wow, that's fantastic. And since then, I know that you've had a, I guess you should back up. The biggest thing that I know about NFTs is everyone's always worried about the floor price and where that's going. So I believe the original mint was somewhere about 0.06 ETH. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And now what are we looking at for floor price for Salties?
It's currently sitting at 0.24. So we've never seen it go anywhere close to double the mint price. So we're really lucky in that regards, because we do see a lot of projects fall below their mint price, but we've been really, really lucky to actually never fall below double what our mint price was. So we're really lucky in that sense. Where I think we are strong in terms of our offering is the low supply. So we don't have 10,000, PFPs. It's only a supply of 3,000, which makes the entire project even more desirable, because there's not as many pirates as you'll find as some of the other projects out there. So having a low supply is really, really good for us. It also means that we don't have as many holders, which is great as well. So, having low supply and less holders is really good for the project long term, and that's something that we really focused on. And we wanted to make sure that we could actually have something that people could see value in straight away, and I think that's sort of really come together quite well.
Absolutely. And speaking of the amount of holders, I know when we first talked, there was talk of maybe some celebrity holders, athletes or actors, actresses, and things of that nature. Are you able to disclose anybody now that you guys have launched your first set of NFTs?
Well, we've probably got about 10 celebrities that are holding, 2 or 3 of them which don't want to be disclosed yet, but I can give you a hint. The brand that we just collaborated with, they're called Hard Fizz, and one of the guys that is predominant owner in Hard Fizz is potentially one of those guys.
Awesome, awesome. And I know when we talked the last time, we talked a little bit about Fizz, and can you tell us how that partnership came together and what that means for Salties?
Yeah, so look, I believe we're the very first NFT project to ever to do a collaboration with an alcohol brand. I'm not aware of any others, so I think that makes it a first. I originally created a partnership with a company called No Standing. They're an amazing agency down in Melbourne, which is just south of Sydney, about 8 hours or 9 hours from Sydney. And I've actually worked with them before from Web2 projects, and they're amazing at what they do. And it was a no-brainer for me to work with them again on this project. And I sat down with them at a coffee shop when they were up here, right, and I explained to them what the vision of Salties was and what I wanted to do with it. And then I said to them, look, because of the relationship that pirates have with alcohol, I really want to do some type of partnership where we work with some alcohol brands so that we could put our pirates on their cans, or we could put them on the bottles. And I did a couple of mock-ups and I showed the guys and they loved it. And one of the guys that's one of the owners of No Standing, he actually is a part owner of Fizz. So it made a lot of sense for us to enter that market with a relationship that we already had. But Fizz makes a lot of sense for pirates because it's such a up and coming brand. They're a little bit more forward thinking when it comes to their marketing and some of the influences they have. But because as we all know, alcohol is a very traditional space, and it's a very, very hard space to enter unless you're like The Rock or you're George Clooney. It's like a lot of other markets. It's oversaturated. There's a lot of different products, and there's a lot of, I would say, a lot of the owners of these businesses aren't sort of forward thinking enough to really sort of enter the NFT space, because NFTs are quite new, so for a lot of them it's quite risky. So Fizz is such a forward-thinking brand. They've got really good leadership. They've got great marketing. They've got really great influencers. So the connection for us with Fizz, it's like a match made in heaven.
Absolutely. And I saw a couple, I believe you guys tweeted it. Are those mock-ups or are those actual cans? Or when can we expect to see the Salty Pirates on the actual cans?
So this is a really good question. So those are mock-ups for now. The reason why we have 3 different mock-ups is we're doing a DAO vote. So this is like a historic moment. Not only have we been the first NFT to launch with an actual product, and eventually we're going to be on the shelves, we're actually letting our community decide which flavor we do first. So the team over at Fizz have been hard at work in the background, testing a few different flavors out, and making sure that what we offer and what we put out there is good quality and tastes great and has great branding. So we've been working on that for a little while in the background. So what we did was we came up with 3 really good options, and now we're letting the DAO decide. So Brian can talk a little bit about it now, but we've got the DAO up and running ever since we spoke last. We've done about 7 or 8 different votes now. We have community members able to submit proposals. But right now, there's a vote going on to which flavor that we do, and we wanted to make it a community thing because we are a DAO. So we wanted to, allow the DAO to be able to decide what flavor we launch with.
Yeah, definitely. The DAO is one of the most exciting things that has come up in recent weeks. We're kind of experiencing maybe some growing pains, but nothing too bad. I think it's all a learning experience for us. And really, the biggest problem we've had is what do we have a delay before the vote starts, and once the vote starts, how long does it go for? And we've kind of come up with a tiered approach to it, to where some of the, not less important necessarily, but some of the votes that don't necessarily need a 24-hour discussion period, they go straight into a 24-hour voting period. Like, for instance, we have a vote going right now whether or not to give pirate holders more entries in a giveaway depending on how many pirates they own. Not a groundbreaking, not a game-changing vote. So we just jumped straight into the 24-hour vote. Now, the Fizz one was an important one for us, right? So this is going to be a huge collaboration for Salty Pirates. And, this is going to be the first flavor, hopefully, of many that are associated with our brand. So we have a 24-hour discussion period, and then we're going to have a 24 or 72-hour voting period. So that's up and running right now. And we've had 5 kind of very successful votes up until this point. So really kind of looking forward to seeing how the DAO develops with regard to letting the pirates have their say. It's actually a very important part of pirate lore that everyone on ship has a voice in the direction that they go. So we're kind of carrying on that tradition in the form of a DAO. So it's pretty amazing to see so far.
Yeah, and
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, look, there's not many NFTs in the world that could pull off a deal like this. Like, this is so bullish that it's like I can't even explain to people how big this is going to be, because this is the first NFT that's ever going to be on a alcohol brand. We're going to have our own flavor, and we're allowing our members to decide what flavor that's going to be. Like if Bored Ape Yacht Club did something like this, their price would probably jump 200, 300%. We're not as well known as Bored Ape Yacht Club, but we're doing something really, really big in this space. Probably one of the biggest things I've personally seen in this space is actually getting a real live product and a global brand to believe in us enough to actually make our own drink and flavor. And this is just the start of this collaboration. The plans that we have for this collaboration are massive. And we are we're very lucky to have the people behind Fizz also to be behind Salty Pirate. So extremely bullish news for us, and more to come.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. And what I was gonna get at is, speaking of the DAO and community, you guys did things a little bit different than you see probably 99% of all NFT projects out doing, with mass marketing, whether it's Discord DMs or influencer tweeting and things like that. You very organically built out Salty, and I would say most of your community is in your Discord. How many people have you seen come in from before you've launched until now, just kind of organically funneled in through doing their own research, getting involved in communities like Cryptonairz and crypto Twitter, if you will?
Yeah, it's funny. I think we're probably the only NFT project that has more followers on Discord than Twitter, which is like it's a bit strange, but it does come back to the fact that we are completely focused on organic. We never wanted to use traditional things like using influencers, because we knew that the power of influencers were coming less and less, and a lot of them are shilling some great projects, but in between great projects, they're shilling some terrible ones in between. And we didn't want to be a part of that, because we know that there are a lot of people losing money out there. We didn't want to be associated with anyone that was doing that. We wanted to be really careful about who we did and didn't work with, because it's about integrity, number one. Our community focus has always been our top priority. So bringing a organic community together, and building that off fundamentals, not building that off hype. So, like me and the team, we're completely doxed. We're bringing out, delivery after delivery. We're sticking to our roadmap. We're coming up with new and exciting parts and features to our actual project. We've updated our website like 4 or 5 times to match those things, where we're seeing a lot of other projects that their website update is going to happen in Q3 and Q4, which we can do in days. And we've been able to develop really fast. So reason why I'm saying all of this is, we, like the community at large, always ask for transparency. They ask for docs. Yet we still see the behavior of, people hyping into projects that we have no clue what the artwork looks like. We have no clue of what's on the roadmap. So we're all asking for one thing, but we're all doing a completely different thing. And we see what people are asking for. We're doing what everybody's asking for. However, it doesn't have the same type of hype that the other way does. So we're not changing for any reason. We're going to stick the course of what we're doing, because we truly believe in the team. We truly believe in our vision, and we truly believe in the road that we've set out and we've got in place. And we want to keep delivering that transparency and the road, the milestones that we're hitting as a project. So you're right, Grant. We are doing things a little bit differently. We aren't focusing on hype and FOMO, because they're the worst things long term for a project. And we're a project that has a very long term focus. So, I plan to make this a really big brand. I plan to work with more than just Fizz. We have some amazing partnerships that we've got coming up. We're just about to buy a metaverse land for entertainment, which is pretty exciting. We've got about 4 or 5 things that we're working on that I actually haven't even told my own community about. And some of the new videos and things that we're going to be rolling out about our Fizz collaboration, etc., is pretty bullish. So, to say the least, a lot of exciting stuff has happened, but a lot more exciting stuff is about to happen as well.
Absolutely. And I know that, a couple of weeks ago, you were also interviewed locally for down in Australia, if I'm not correct, right, by a news organization?
Yeah, we've actually been interviewed on TV twice by two local networks here. One of them's actually a global network. It's like an online TV show. So they went really well. We're about to get more and more exposure. So every time we do something like Fizz, there's a PR team that No Standing has that's going to put up a PR article and then send it to over 400 different outlets. I actually personally sat down. I haven't told anyone this yet, but I personally sat down with one of my mates here in Sydney who is connected to a lot of the publications here, TV shows and networks. And I told him everything that we're working on, and he's so excited that he's got me lined up with some really big networks. I'm going to be meeting some people soon. We're talking about all the different angles that we've got for PR and TV and everything moving forward. So we're starting to put a little bit of a plan together when it comes to that, and working with our partners on this as well. So it won't just be us as a business that pushes this Fizz collaboration. Fizz is going to get behind that, and we're going to get some really big PR with this type of news as well, because let's not forget that no alcohol brand has ever done anything with an NFT, and most like traditional businesses haven't done anything with NFT. So this is really big news. This will get picked up in a lot of different places. So once we start our PR push for the Fizz collaboration, which is going to happen closer to when we start to actually put our ads together, we work out what flavor it's going to be, et cetera, et cetera. There's going to be a big market and PR push that will come off the back of that as well.
And that's one of the things that's so amazing about No Standing is that, you know, one, we have an NFT project that is backed by a marketing team of 50 people, and they're pretty much all in on this project. You know, nobody else can really say that. And they're concentrating a lot of their efforts on Web2 marketing, which is something that a lot of people aren't doing as well in this space, because it's more than just getting people in the NFT space aware of the project, but there's 9.5 billion people out there, and most of them have never even had any experience with NFTs. So are we going to market ourselves to the same 300,000 people that already know about NFTs, or are we going to try to reach some of that 9.5 billion people or whatever it is to bring them into the space? And I think so far they're doing a really good job of that. I mean, recently we just purged, what was it, Barrett? Like, I don't know, close to 1,000 bots and inactive accounts, something like that. And we've already gained half of those back just with the marketing efforts of No Standing. So really, really, really excited to have them on board with us for sure.
Well, yeah, the No Standing partnership's a major one that I still don't think a lot of people realize how big it is for an NFT. So their PR department is 5 people. So when we start to do more and more PR pushes, we've got 5 people working from No Standing to push Salty Pirates across mainstream media. Their creative team is another 10 people. So when we start to do ads and we start to do really cool YouTube things, there's 10 people working on that. Their other departments are, you know, they've got heaps of people to deploy and use when we need them. And so far they've been great. Like Brian just mentioned, like they've been amazing. And we're not just trying to go after the same, 300,000 people that are in Twitter that are looking at NFTs. We are working out ways to bring really great influencers into the space that aren't in the space. We're looking at ways to bring, heads of businesses in here. We're looking to bring in companies. We're not looking at just individual holders. They are great, and they will probably always make up at least 90 to 95%. But we are looking to bring in some powerhouses into the Salty Pirates. And, this is something that when we did do that deep dive into the space, that we looked at the 4 core pillars of what makes it a really good NFT is community is number one. And we've seen that with BAYC, and we've seen that with, the Kongs. Transparency is also another big one. So, it's important for us to be open, show everybody what we're working on, be a DAO. So it's up to all of us to make decisions. And there's this real world utility that everybody talks about, but only, I would say, less than 1% of NFTs ever really achieve. Now, we've already done that, and we've done that with a global business. And yeah, I don't know, it's super exciting. Like, when I showed No Standing my vision, and they've been able to execute that for me within 4 weeks, is unbelievably bullish on what we're going to be achieving in the next 12 months. So, if you own a pirate, or you're thinking about getting a pirate, I don't know how long they'll sit at this price for, because as soon as we start hitting the shelves with our product, this is going to be a real game changer, and we'll probably get national and, if not, global news.
And I think part of that, and I just want to back up a little bit because we covered a lot there, but part of it is talking about maybe the foundation that you've built. And when a couple minutes ago, the question was about the organic growth and kind of slowly doing that. I think you're able to get to this point where we're at today by doing that, the buildup that you've done and building a solid foundation, because I don't really think that many people, whether it's an NFT or a project like Cryptonairz or any other token project, I don't think many people really understand how many moving parts there are in order to make something work, right? In order to make the project successful. Just as you're talking about, 5 people on this team, 10 people on another team, there are so many people working to make this happen, and your vision is absolutely coming true. And I think that when you start building out more of these pirates, and I think we're going to get into that here shortly, you will see more of those people who do not have NFTs, right? Maybe the 1% or the 5% of new traders coming in, or new collectors coming in, will be those who have found your NFTs on those alcohol brands or on those cans. Can you talk about maybe some ways those new maybe collectors are going to be able to obtain an NFT outside of, obviously the floor price has risen quite a bit since this first started. Are there plans for new NFTs? And if so, when can the community plan to see that?
Yep. Great question. We're always mindful. I still think we're severely undervalued for what we're delivering, especially for the supply amount. But we always have a vision to allow for people to be in our project in some way, some form. So it is something we're very mindful of, and as we move forward, we'll start to, think of ways to be able to bring people into the project if the main collection does take off and does see the sort of prices that we believe that these things are worth, or these NFTs are worth. Just if I could go back 1 sec on what you were saying there, you brought up a really good point about the community. One of the big reasons why Fizz, agreed to come on and work with us is because of the community itself. Like, they've spent a lot of time in our community, and they've spent a lot of time in other communities. And you come to our community, it feels like family. Like, people, there's just genuine conversations going on there. People are getting to know one another. We've got a docs channel where people are just doxing themselves that are just owners. And people are now meeting up and getting together if they're in the same region, and making their relationships stronger. And we don't often see that in these hype projects, because these hype projects are like, you see like a comment every 3 seconds, and you're unable to form any type of relationship. And a lot of the conversation is like when moon and, like stuff like that. But for us, it's like a real family. And I think, it was really hard, and Brian can attest to this. In the beginning, we were on, I think it was 100 members. And for us to go from 100 members to 300 was one of the hardest things we ever did as a project. I mean, securing Fizz was easier than getting to 1,000 members. And this is like part of the process and the decision of the road that we chose was to be as organic as possible. And I think that organic and that really tough road that we took has led to the community that we have today. And some of the guys here, because I don't know if everyone knows this, but we did a really soft launch in the beginning just to bring a few people on to help with the progression of the project. We called it our friends and family round, and people have been with us for months and months and months, and most of those guys have never ever sold and aren't even considering selling. I think there's like something like yesterday we had 130 pirates for sale, and today I think we have 150. But that says a lot about the community itself. And if you just spend some time in our Discord and you start chatting, you'll feel instantly like you're welcome. Very positive. People are getting to know each other, and I think that's part of the reason why we can build these great relationships with these brands, because they love coming in and spending time in our community. Back to your question, sorry, Brian, did you want to add anything to that? Well,
Yeah, actually, I did. Sorry, I'm just getting into the car. Um, so there's a couple of things I want to bring up. One is a direct answer to Grant's question, but with the approach that we took to building this community, going from 0 to 1 was obviously difficult, but in the process, we have gained about 1,000 really like passionate supporters, right? And there's obviously quite a few people that are in there just in case something happens. But we have this bedrock community now where if we were to just shoot up to 20,000 overnight, we have the foundation to support that and to kind of keep that organic community feel alive, even if we have a large number of people coming in. And to answer your question about whether or not we have any if we have any other mints coming up that will allow people to kind of buy into the ecosystem at a reasonable price, we actually have a mint coming up that is going to be pretty much exclusive to holders because it's the female pirates, right? You're going to have to play the game to get the resources to be able to mint one of these things. Obviously, you can get one on the secondary, but who knows what the floor price will be at that point. There is going to be something that we're introducing that will allow our holders to be rewarded. It will allow our it will allow our celebrities, especially musicians, to be rewarded, and it will also give people access to. You know where I'm going with this, right, Barrett? I don't know how much you want to give away right now. I'll kind of leave it up to you, but
no,
um, there's a
we
key to all of this.
we owe Cryptonairz some alpha, because you guys really helped us get off the ground. You guys did an AMA with us really early on and brought quite a number of holders to our project. So, you know, we're very thankful, and we love this community. So we might as well drop it here because we've never mentioned it. But we're working on metaverse passes. We've got a very big holding of very big DJs and celebrities, you know, that are in the music industry here in Australia. We also have a couple of global ones, and quite recently we've been talking to some really big global artists as well. And with that community, we're going to be doing a lot. We're going to have a big focus on metaverse parties. We want to do digital parties. So we're creating like keys or access tokens, and we're going to be giving a free airdrop to all of our holders that will allow them access. We'll be taking a screenshot at a particular point when we're getting closer to announcing and releasing these metaverse passes. But it'll be an NFT that'll allow you to our events. Our first one's going to be held by a major artist. We're just in the middle of acquiring a space that is for this particular project. We're looking at including probably what I reckon is probably one of the best spaces I've ever seen in the metaverse type of spaces. If you've had a look at a few, this thing is like, I've showed Brian, and it's next level. Like it feels like you're actually inside of a club. We're going to allow our artists to be able to sell passes to their communities, but we'll be airdropping for free to all of our holders when we take the snapshot a lifetime pass. So that'll give them access to everything that we do online, which is like a thank you to all of our supporters and all of our early SBC holders, which will also be able to be tradable. So if someone doesn't see value in having a lifetime pass to our metaverse parties, then they're able to sell that on the secondaries. But all of our holders will receive one as an airdrop. And we've been working on them in the background, and they're pretty cool.
Yeah, they look amazing. I got to be honest.
That's awesome. And I don't know if you're going to be able to disclose, but we're talking about Metaverse Land. And I know when we originally talked many weeks ago, even before we had our AMA, we talked about how important potentially acquiring Metaverse Land will be in the future. Are you able to disclose which platform you're looking to pick up the land at?
We can't just yet, only because we're in the middle of signing the contract, so it's not done. So I wouldn't want to say anything until it's finalized and we're progressing along. But it's a relatively new metaverse. They've got some big backing. They've got some big players in the space, and I've been working personally with the CEO and probably their best designer on this space. So once it's all signed off and built, then we can definitely share more information with you guys. But at this point, it's not possible because I don't want to announce anything until it's we've signed and we've dotted the I's and crossed the T's.
Completely understandable. And as far as your roadmap and acquiring, obviously not so much the land, but the release of the female pirates, what timeline are we looking for that?
So we're looking probably within a week, and it's basically a staking mechanism, which is also going to be a game. So when you stake your pirates, each pirate, because we have a number of, if you can see Brian's profile picture, and there's a few in the audience as well. We have a couple of different races, or we call them genesises. So my profile picture is a human. Brian's is a demon. There's a couple in the audience that there are trees. There are orcs, monkeys, etc. Now, each one of those genesis is going to generate resources at a different rate. So you'll receive resources on a daily basis. You don't have to do anything to claim them. And we've built this whole thing on Polygon, so it's going to make for gaming a lot cheaper than it would be doing through Ethereum. So we've used a bridge. Now, once you sort of start to acquire some of these resources, and it's kind of you need to be fairly strategic about what you hold and what you don't hold based on genesises. And we've also given some bonuses to a few jackets, and there's some extra bonuses for rarity, the rarity types in each of those genesis. You'll receive extra bonuses, but you'll need to create items with the resources that you create. So when you've got those resources all together, you'll be able to create those items. And once you've got all the items you need, then you can mint a female pirate, and you'll be able to mint a female pirate for every one pirate that you own. We are limiting the supply on the number of female pirates. We have 3,000 OG pirates, but the number of mintable female pirates is we're still trying to work out that exact number, but it'll be somewhere between 1,000 and 1,200 as a maximum. So there will be a limit to the amount that will be able to be minted, but you will have the opportunity to mint one for every pirate that you hold, and those female pirates will be free. And like Brian said, we can't determine the secondary price of those because that'll be up to the holders. But we've put a lot more. I wouldn't say a lot more, but we've put a lot of time into the female pirates, and anybody that's seen the female pirates have said that they look better than the originals. And that's because we've noticed that any project that launches a secondary project like a female-based project, they haven't always done well. And that's because of a number of pitfalls that they fall into. they generally don't spend as much time on the art, or they create the same supply number, or they don't make it relatively difficult enough for people to acquire them. So generally, if we see like something airdrop for free, the holders don't see any value in it. So by building a little game and by making these female pirates hard to obtain, what we want to do is make people feel like they earned them, so they don't just go up on the secondaries for a low amount, which is what we've seen happen in the past with other projects. And then there's a correlation between the two projects. So we don't want to release something unless we know it's going to be successful. Put a little bit of time and effort into trying to understand why other projects have failed once doing that. Because there is always going to be a relationship between the original project and any third or second or third or fourth project that you list. So when we do talk about creating more ways for people to enter the project, we do have to be really mindful of the overall project, not just allowing people to come in, because at the end of the day, our biggest concern is making sure that the people that got into this project early on are the people that are looked after. So we always do want to have ways for people to enter our project, but we're never going to put that ahead of the current community.
Awesome. So just to confirm with you, so everyone understands, the only way to obtain a female is by going through the game and already owning one of the initial mints.
That's correct.
Right.
Awesome. Okay. And so when can we expect, and maybe I'm a little bit behind, but when does the game launch, or has it already launched?
It's about a week away.
And we access that through the saltypiratecrew.io or somewhere different?
Yeah, it'll all be through our website. So I've been working with our developers on building out the game. One of the hardest things is the tokenomics of all of the resources. So every single resource will be an ERC20 coin, which will mean that they're all going to be tradable. Inside of the game, if you're not holding a pirate that you need specific resources for, there are other ways to obtain those resources. So we have loot boxes, we have random drops, we have all sorts of things in there to make it easy for people to be able to generate resources. If they don't, it will make it a little bit slower. But if you're able to hold, and this is what I was saying to the community before, if you're able to hold more of a range of pirates, it's going to be better for you long term. Not only because some are quite rare and hard to get, because there are only 130 pirates for sale, 140 pirates for sale. Most of those are humans, and I think it's around 50 or 60% of our collection are human pirates. So there is a bonus given to the humans. So if you're only holding a human or you want to enter the project, humans actually receive 20% more resources than any other pirate. And the reason why we did that is because we want to make it easy for people to enter the project. And we typically see the humans on the floor, and because there are quite a few of them, that's not going to discount any of the rare ones because they're really hard to get as it. So out of the 140 or 150 pirates for sale, I think maybe 60 or 70% of them are humans. So there's still a really good starting point for people that want to enter our project, because the humans are going to give a 20% advantage over the entire game when it comes to collecting resources.
That's amazing. I'm actually on OpenSea right now looking at them, looking at all of them. And I do hold a couple, in full disclosure to everybody, from when we went through the whitelist portion on the treasure hunts. And if the game is anything like the treasure hunts, I know you said that it should be fairly easy to collect the resources, but those treasure hunts early on were not that easy.
No, we love those treasure hunts. We haven't had time to start planning our next one, but I've already started working I'm started working with another group to do a joint treasure hunt. And the reason why I wanted to do that is I don't personally know of any other project that's done a treasure hunt with another project. So for me, and a lot of the team, we want to keep doing things that are different in this space, and we want to keep thinking outside of the box. And this collaboration with Fizz and being on a real world product and having real world utility was the number one goal for us. But the way I came up with that was, number one, the connection that pirates have to alcohol, but number two, seeing everybody use the same media and use the same advertising tools. Like, I think it was the Times Square Boulevard where people were putting their NFTs up on the screens there. Even though that's amazing and that's really cool, that's just about having enough budget to do that. It's not really difficult. I wanted to put our pirates in something that was going to be difficult to do, but could be mainstream and could be in shops and could be on products that we use day to day. So I wanted to be a project that could say, we were the very first or the world's first NFT to do XYZ. And I really wanted to do something different other than just putting them on TV screens or digital display boards. I wanted to put them on real life products. And, in 4 weeks, we've been able to achieve that with our partnership with No Standing. And No Standing are coming up with some incredible things. I mean, we're already working on a theme song. Like, we've got so many different musicians and producers that I just listened to a track this morning from one of our producers, and it's really cool. And where we're going with this is we're going to be a NFT that does things completely differently from everybody else. And I think the people that have been with us for a while can see how we're doing things so differently. And the reason why we're doing that is we know that there's going to be a huge number of NFTs that fail out there, and we basically want to give our holders as much value as possible, but we also want to do things differently, because if we keep seeing the same thing done over and over again, people are going to get the same results. So for us, it's about diversifying a little bit. It's about working with brands. It's about building really cool treasure hunts. It's about building a game to reward holders, but not make it too easy that they feel like the next generation isn't worth it, anything at all. So, for us, like, we've got some really cool stuff coming out as well, but we've already delivered some really cool things. And by doing things differently, it might take people a while to find us. But we're not too concerned about that. We're more concerned about doing things the way that the pirates do things. And that's been from day one, and you've pointed a few of those out, Grant, and we're going to continue to do things that way.
And absolutely, you don't fix what's not broken, right? I mean, everything so far, from building the community, from the launch, and then finding utility outside of not only real world items like your partnerships, but finding a utility of owning the NFT and then requiring that ownership to purchase, or at least to acquire the female NFT version outside of secondary market is actually genius. And going back to your community alone, as you know, I don't get that much time to jump through all the Discords and from everyone that we talk to, but every time I do come to the Discord, the Salty Pirate Crew Discord, it is extremely friendly, and there is no Win Moon or Win Lambo. There's literally just honest, passionate people about this project, and that's a kudos to you guys for keeping it together, because I asked you guys very early on, when you do get thousands of members, how do you plan to keep that same atmosphere? And you've done it. So congratulations to you guys, and congratulations to all the success that you've had over the last couple of weeks. We're coming up on about an hour now. Is there anything else you want to add, or any other information you want to tell us about Salty Pirate Crew, what we can expect in the future, what it looks like in the roadmap, or anything that you want to let your community know?
For us, it's now, like, we did a vote in the DAO for No Standing to go out and to do some traditional marketing and to bring some influencers in. So now that we've released our Fizz partnership and our collaboration, we've also launched the vote for the flavor. Now is going to be a really big push towards bringing new members in here. There's going to be a really big push to bring some influencers in here, to bring some companies in here. It's going to be a really big push towards that now. In saying that, with the female pirates coming out, one of the biggest things in this space is inclusion, and we wanted to really focus on having a real balance between male and females in our space. And I'm actually surprised by the number of females that we already have in our network. It's like we've probably got maybe 6 or 7 female owners that have already doxed themselves just as community members in our space. And you know, pirates do speak to more than just males. And these female pirates that we're bringing out, we're putting a lot of effort and design into them because we really want the diversity of, you know, women in NFTs to be a really big push for us. And we will have some PR around that. We are putting a panel together of female NFT owners. They're going to be really big in our introduction and our launch of the female pirates. So there's going to be a really big push to, you know, that space of inclusion. So that's going to be really big for us. We do have a lot of really, really exciting things on the roadmap, like the metaverse passes. We've got our metaverse that we're about to sign and start building for, you know, entertainment purposes. We've got some major artists that are globally recognized that will be playing inside of that space. And we're bringing more and more of those producers and artists into this space, and we're bringing more and more athletes together. And, you know, for us, it's like we are a fairly big Australian community. So we want to really play on the Australian community. So there's a really big push towards more Australian, you know, owners and holders, specifically of influence. So for us, it's now we've gotten to a point where our holders have had the opportunity to start putting the collection of pirates that they wanted together. So being able to put a couple of humans or an orc or a demon and stuff together while the prices are relatively low. Then the game will come out within about a week. And people will start minting those female pirates relatively quickly. And so I'm working really tiresome with the artists to get some great artwork across and variations in that set. Luckily, it's not another 3,000 set or 10,000 set. So mean that we can be faster in terms of our delivery, but also we can be more accurate in what the community wants and what they're asking for in terms of the artwork and the types of genesises or races that we have in there. I mean, we put out 4 different races for the females as sneak peeks. We have a spirit, we have a Medusa, we have a human female pirate, and we also have a voodoo lady, which looks really, really cool. On top of that, we're going to be releasing some mermaids. We'll be doing some. We've got like an Amazonian sort of warrior style one coming. We've got quite a few cool, some really cool, innovative female pirates coming to the space, and you know, there's going to be that whole discussion around inclusion, and we'll have our own theme song soon. We've got some amazing videos that are about to come out, the Fizz collaboration, and you know, some PR around that. So it's all about to happen. We're literally like probably 3 to 4 weeks away from probably mass adoption in the pirates, which is what I'm guessing. No one knows. I don't have a crystal ball. But there's a lot to come, and there's a lot of outreach and marketing that's about to take off as well. Brian, did you want to add anything before we leave?
You might be muted again on your end.
He unmuted himself, but this happens to him quite a bit where he gets rugged. Sometimes like or something that happens. But look, for anybody listening, there's a lot happening. We've already achieved a lot. We've got a great community, and we've got a lot on the roadmap that we're really excited about. So if you're thinking about coming across to Salty Pirates, do so quickly. We are an NFT with a world first now, and that's only going to get bigger and bigger. But thank you again, Grant. I really appreciate your time and your community for coming and attending our AMA. It's always really great to talk to you and the community. And we're really excited about the future of Salty. Brian, can you hear us now? No.
I had hope there for a moment. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ocean, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I know we get a chance to talk every couple of weeks, just briefly. But what you've done and Salty Pirates, congratulations to you. And I wish you nothing but continued success with everything that you're doing. I'm happy to be a part of it as a Genesis holder, and I look forward to attempting to go through the game and mint some female pirates as well. I think you guys are doing some great things. I know it doesn't just stop with the female pirates and the inclusion. I know there was in the last AMA, and then people should go back and listen to that, but we talked about potential for ships and maybe pets and other things. So I know that you guys have a lot more down the road. So your partnerships and your growth, again, congratulations and thanks for stopping by. And if I may add one more thing to everybody around the world, there's a lot of tension. There's a lot of upset people no matter where you're at. But in the name of inclusion, we should accept everybody for who they are, no matter what their opinions are, their race, their religion, their creed, whatever it's going to be. Just remember to be kind to each other. We're all in this space together to learn and grow together. So if we could take anything from our time here today, outside of the great project that Salty Pirate Crew is, we look at their community, how great that community is, Cryptonairz community, how great our community is. We're from all over the world, all have different beliefs, but we're all kind to one another. So just keep the kindness going, and let's just continue that.
That's a really good point. It's like this whole space is we're all building it together, whether we're creators or we're just people that are buying NFTs. We're all building this space, and it's great to see this space, and it's great to see this space changing, and the people that are involved in this. And we need for more people to come into the space. So it's about bringing friends and family in. It's about listening to what each other have to say and making sure that no one's not heard. And I think that's a really good point, Grant. I mean, this space can only be made by us as a foundation, because we are only 300,000 people that are in NFTs at the moment. So there's a lot more people to come into the space over the next few years, and we don't want to make it a toxic space. It needs to be all about inclusion and hearing one another and building things together. It's not one person's job; it's all of our jobs.
Absolutely. Thanks again, and thank you everybody for attending. I know there's going to be some questions on when this will be posted for other people to listen to. Again, usually it takes about 24 to 48 hours. So we should get this out here, and I'll share it with you, Ocean, to give to your community as well. If they want to go ahead and listen to it, we'll have it posted.
Excellent. Thank you, Grant. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.